What's going on? Shakesha Divine in the house, the pretty priestess, and I hope that you all have had a beautiful and a wonderful holiday. What was Thanksgiving that just passed? So shout out to everybody that was able to spend some time with their family. Shout out to everyone that participates in the Sirius Cypher. Today, I'm holding it down. I'm doing it on my own, and it is all good in the hood, y'all, because I got some really powerful downloads that have been helpful along my journey. I'm so glad that we have shifted this energy into Sagittarius season. This is a season that is filled with a lot more lighthearted energy, right? After we really got this opportunity to get a foot lodged right in our ass, our subconscious ass from Scorpio, with all of the deep diving and introspection and closer look that we have to take in Scorpio. This energy of Sagittarius is a nice, refreshing welcome. It's like coming in from the cold, and I'm definitely here for it. And Sagittarius season is beautiful because it always shows up around the time of year, Thanksgiving, when the families get together. Sagittarius is opposite of Gemini, and Gemini is definitely that communication energy. And right now we got Mars that's in Gemini, which is retrograde right now. So there definitely is some potential for some truths to be revealed and served on a dish cold. So definitely, if we can stay in the highest vibration, we can navigate situations like that efficiently, effectively, proficiently, showing folks that we have arrived, we have ascended in these streets, maybe, hopefully, that we'll definitely be able to show up in a powerful and productive way for the holidays and get that healing that we're all looking to get, because this is definitely a time for that. So then I didn't get an opportunity because I got a lot of stuff that's going on in my family, and I was going to not do a cipher this week because I have so much going on, but I made this agreement, and I'm like, it only takes an hour for me to get in here to build a little bit. It helps me so much. And so here I am. This is what I do. I want to look, let me hold up. I don't want to go there. Just a second. Let me see where the moon's at. Okay, so we are in the first quarter moon right now in Pisces. I got my little astrology calendar here that helps me stay on point with all of our planetary placements and everything. So even those times that I don't use those apps where you can go and look and see where all the planetary placements is, in a pinch, I can take a look, see where that moon is at. And when that moon is in Pisces, this is definitely a time for us to really start reflecting on those dreams. I know this energy for me, and in my personal experience, it has been particularly just a little heavy because I really ain't been wanting to do too much. I just been wanting to retreat a little bit. And that's one of the side effects of how this energy flows, right? Where you just want to kind of retreat, sit in the house, sip on a hot toddy or something like that, and kind of, stay away from the world and everything. But it also talks about, I have this book that I grabbed up from the Half Price Book Show bookstore. Is called Predicting with Astrology. So I just started getting into that and everything, but it really gives like a really good overview of not only just the planetary energies, but just like what it means when they're trine, when they're square, and give some really good examples of that and where the moon placement is and all of that. And so I just thought that this would be a really good resource, because not only that, this is like an older one. So it talks about a lot of history that has already taken place. And I can go back and kind of use some of this as a reference to see where we're at today. Very cool work. Very cool work. But this is definitely a time for us to avoid being too sensitive, being irresponsible, and daydreaming too much. And that's definitely the vibe of the energy that I've been in. Not necessarily just being irresponsible and daydreaming too much, but not really getting too much accomplished. That's the space that I've been in. But it's all good though, because we're moving in to this Sagittarius season. And this is crazy because I definitely can't make this up, fam. But this Jupiter and this Sagittarius energy is all in alignment with this Wheel of Fortune card. So let's talk about this Wheel of Fortune. Can we? Can we? Wow. I'm going to talk about it. I got it in my Modern Witchcraft Tarot book. I like to go to this. This is my go-to reference, right? And so this is all about change, destiny, unexpected turn of events, and good luck, because some decks depict the Wheel of Fortune with 8 spokes in reference to 8 pagan Sabbaths or holidays that mark the sun's annual passage across the sky in ever-turning cycles. Consciously or unconsciously, we put something in motion where we have little or no control over the outcome. Now, a new phase in the life is beginning. An important decision must be made, or an upcoming circumstance will change your life. Destiny is at work. You will have to accept whatever happens. And all that you can do is attune yourself to the forces that's operating right now. The Wheel of Fortune. So this right today would have been a really powerful discussion, right? On just what that looks like on both ends when the Wheel of Fortune shows up within our life and how that energy gets expressed. And so I got a few examples that I want to talk about and everything. And I wanted to bring up another point too on this whole energy of the Wheel of Fortune within itself. Because this Wheel of Fortune, it also came up in my Goddess Inspiration Oracle and just within my studies where they talk about in Greek mythology, they have the Moirai, right? And the Moirai, hold up, where's my notes at so I don't mess up and tell y'all something that ain't true. Because I'll do it. Okay, so the Moirai is all about the 3 fates, right? And the 3 fates sit on the threads of life. One spins the thread of life, the second one weaves the thread, and the third one cuts it. And this is a reminder of our life, death, rebirth process, the cycles within our lives, right? And just like within the Wheel of Fortune, we see that show up in our lives in so many ways. And a lot of times we can sit back and we can look at things that have happened, turns of events that's in our life, right? And we really can't act surprised where we'll see a situation that kind of boiled over if it's a festering situation, right? And it's kind of been simmering for quite some time. And then we get that cataclysmic event and we're like, yeah, we saw that coming a mile away. That's one example of Wheel of Fortune energy. But another example of Wheel of Fortune energy is how we get out here and we do this work and we put it down, we put it in, we do what we have to do. And it seems almost as if there is no avail. And then suddenly, out of the blue, something shows up, something comes along, and the doors begin to open and things begin moving forward. And what happens within our lives when something like that, for the better, that change in fortune, when that happens, what can we say our response would be? What would we predict our response would be? And so I think about an example of like winning the lottery and how that right there is a definite wheel of fortune moment, right? Because that's one cataclysmic event that completely changes the whole way your life is going. So I just go strolling on down to the grocery store one day and I say, you know what? I'm going to throw that Powerball on down. And I go walk on up there. Some say play the number. And I say, give me the quick pick. And they just spit out some numbers for me, right? And then the number come up there and you know what I'm saying? I'm watching it and I was like, hold the fuck. Now all of a sudden my life has changed. Wheel of Fortune. One of the questions that I wanted to pose was, in these relationships, let's say money, a downfall, a windfall, I'm sorry, a downfall, a windfall. In these events where your life has completely changed, what are some things that you would do? A windfall of money, the lottery being hit. What? I think about it and I say the first thing I'm gonna do, I come into this windfall of money, be it that I hit the lottery. Uncle so-and-so passed away and I'm his only living relative and I get his entire estate. Suddenly somebody discovered holistic appeal on Amazon and decided we want to make a bazillion copies of it. Yeah, I got a windfall. What am I going to do with that? What's my first move? Now, I would love to say that I'm that person that's going to say, I'm going to buy my mama a house, I'm going to do this and that. Well, my mama ain't here. So I got some thinking to do. Because they talk about how people who get that money the second when they hit the lottery, like they go right back to the position that they were in, like within a year or so, depending on how much it was, how fast they blow through it and everything. But they end up going right back to the condition that they came from. And that's a lot of times because we have these flips, these strongholds in our consciousness, the poverty and consciousness mentality, where we start feeling obligated to bring everyone along. And that's not saying that we can't show up and be a blessing to the people that are around us. That would be like, well, you know, I mean, you could. Yeah, you could. But there's ways of making sure that you kind of secure your bag and everything. But Wheel of Fortune moments, and you're not prepared for something like this, can completely bring some upheaval up into a sister or a brother's life. And so we really got to get into a space where we're preparing for the possibility, for the potentiality of change, upheaval coming at any particular given moment. Peace and light, peace and love, Aquarius moon in the house. How you doing, lady?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm sitting up here. I'm talking about this Wheel of Fortune card. And I was just a little bit all over the place because I was going through trying to put together scenarios that would make most sense for this whole Wheel of Fortune energy, right? See, the Wheel of Fortune, I know you know, but just in case you know, about chance, destiny, fate, karma, turning points, life cycles, right? When major happens and it brings some upheaval into your life. And so I was just giving an example of how my life would certainly change if I hit the lottery or I got a sudden windfall or Uncle so-and-so left me some money. I'm the only living relative. However, I got a windfall. But they say that there's so many people that when they hit the lottery, especially, there's a phenomenon with the lottery. There's people that they play the lottery, they hit the lottery, and within about a year or so, or a few years later, they go right back to the condition
Yes.
they were in previously before.
All right.
And so I was thinking to myself, well, if I got a major windfall like that, what would be the first thing that I would do with my That's something to think about right there.
Yeah, it is. But I'm of the opinion that you never know what you're going to do until you're in the situation. You can dream about it, you can plan for it, you can prepare for it. But until it's in your hand, you never know what you're going to do. And I believe that's with any situation. And
Yeah,
it can change with time. So,
yeah, without a doubt. Brother Dante in the house, what's going on, brother? How was your holiday?
Hectic, but yeah, I'm glad to be back here, around y'all and a little back with this soul fan bam, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was hectic as shit, but hey, what is it? What else is gonna be? You know what I'm saying? Shit. How's y'all's? How y'all doing?
It's all good. My holiday, it was the holiday. We got through it. Our family, we got along. We had a beautiful time. My daughter had her very first holiday gathering at her house. So we enjoyed ourselves.
Oh,
Yeah.
how old is your daughter? Or what age range, if you don't
Oh,
want to tell
well, my daughter, she's 30. She just turned 30 in September. So,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
yep. Big
yeah,
32. Yeah, that's what's
yes.
up.
I'm
Glad
very
to hear
proud
it.
of her. Yes, check her out. So she did her thing and everything. We had a good time, except, I had a player hater in the car on the way there, like, Case, don't get high with the kids when we go to the house for the holiday. I'm like, oh, man, whatever. But
Right.
other than that, I had a good time now. Aquarius,
Heck
but
yeah, what y'all was talking about? Did I catch y'all in the middle of talking about something,
you
or
know
y'all
what?
was
No, I was just starting to dive into the Wheel of Fortune was the subject at hand today. And so the Wheel of
okay?
is all about like a change of fate, something that changes and shifts your life quickly, right? Maybe it's karma, maybe it's
Yeah.
destiny, right? All of a sudden you hit the lottery, or you get this $1 million idea that comes through, or a family member passes away and you get a sudden windfall, like something that happens that's really big in your life. But this can happen on either end of the spectrum. And one of the things that I wanted to really pose to the cipher is about this whole energy of this Wheel of Fortune. I'm trying to let me think of how I want to phrase this. Your experience, if you experience, hold up, where's my notes at? Let me make sure. Let me get this here. Relationships, jobs, money, any of these type of situations, they come about and they bring major change and major upheaval in your life.
mm-hmm.
On one end, we'll say that you run into a lot of money, you experience a windfall. On the other end, let's say that you lose your home, or you know what I'm saying, you're in a house fire or something like that. In these experiences, you guys, what do you think the grandest lesson that can be pulled out for do you think that this is an element of destiny and fate, or we have the ability to make our own destiny and fate?
I feel like we have the ability to choose. We make our own, because you can have all the potential in the world. And if you don't put any energy towards it or any effort towards it, it'll never manifest. So, you know what I'm saying? You can get the fortune and the luck all day long, but if you're not putting the right energy towards it, it's not going to manifest into anything besides what you attract. And if you're, you know, in that lower vibration and all you attract is bullshit, all you thinking about is bullshit all the time, that's how you're going to get with those windfalls, within those windfalls. So I feel like we definitely have the ability to choose. We just, a lot of people don't know how to choose.
Yeah. Okay. And so, you know, and here's I agree with you 1,000%. Like, I'm definitely the type of person that believes like how you're vibrating is the magnetism that you have, right? And what you put out, you attract. But then we also see like outliers, right? And this is the reason why I was trying to really think about like how life on any particular spectrum goes, right? Where when you see something, when you walk into a Wheel of Fortune moment, your life completely changes. Does that give you an opportunity? Does that give us an opportunity to learn and build from it? Or is this a pivotal point that's in our lives that kind of changes the whole direction? So let me think of we know that let's talk about people that are, I lost my train of thought because I was going somewhere, totally lost it. And so I'm gonna have to go back to it because I'm like, oh, damn, I had a really good illustration on where I was going and everything and totally lost the thought. So that's gonna go anyway.
I'll do the same. That's why I got a pen and a piece of paper. Well, pen and a
Right.
note.
And unfortunately, yeah. And I wrote some notes down and all of that. But you know what I'm saying? I started because when I started off, I was the kind of the first person there. So it kind of took me off of the sequence that I was going in and everything, because then I started going one place and then going to another place and all of that. And so there we go right there. But have you ever had, let's say you have a dream job, right? And you get it and it completely changes your life. Things are going really well and everything. And then suddenly things are not working out so well. And then it shifts your life that way. Is that what you would call like an element of destiny? Or is this like one of those things where there was a seed planted at some point in time and we're not really paying attention to it?
I feel like there's always a lesson in everything. And I feel like, well, for me, I mean, yeah, some shit is fucked up, but there's always a lesson in it. You know what I'm saying? So I choose to take the lesson out of every situation instead of being bitter about some shit that I can't change anyway. So I feel like even in, you know what I'm saying, losing something that you really loved or that you really wanted, if you learn a lesson, then is it really a loss?
Right, absolutely. See, this is where I was going. Now it's coming back. I wanted to talk about like the law of cause and effect, right? And so the Hermetic principle, it says cause and effect has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything that happened, hold up. Everything that happens according to law, chance is but a name for the law that's not observed. Our laws, yeah, it's all, you know what I'm saying? But nothing escapes this law. So if we look at the law of cause and effect, and everything has its cause and everything has its effect, and anything that we call chance is just an example of the law not being observed. Then let's say we get into these positions because we say cause and effect. We know, like, let's say we hit the lottery, there's a windfall, we got that, you know. But then let's say we get into a relationship and we end up being connected in karmic relationships, and you're available to someone and you're doing everything that you need to be, but you just can't get any reciprocation on that particular end. Is this something that is just fated? This relationship is just fated to not work out. This is not in the cards. This is not the way that it's supposed to be. or has there been something that's been planted in order to bring a relationship to the state that it's in for you to get one of these karmic relationships, or are we attracting these karmic relationships that's making us happen? And if so, how do you see
Oh, that's a lot.
it?
If you know what I'm saying, the thing that's going on, with this relationship, if the thing that's going on and you're not happy, and this truly is a karmic relationship, isn't this something that you agreed to, a lesson that you agreed to learn?
Mm. Mm.
So your soul has agreed to this. So
Mm.
it's still a good thing, because if you learn the lesson, like I said, if you learn the lesson, you know what I'm saying, that you chose to in this lifetime, then it's still a good thing. You just have to dissect it for yourself. And it's so personal to, every situation. So, it can't be a blanket statement for everybody, you know what I mean? Because it still depends on you and how you're living and how you take the information that you receive.
Right, absolutely. So when I look back over here at this law of cause and effect, I thought that I didn't really need to write it down because I had these laws up here, because every time I'm doing my study, I need to fall back to the hermetic principles, just
Right.
so that I can get a live and direct example of just like how that shows up. And when I looked at the Wheel of Fortune and I saw that whole thing of the cause and effect, now we can talk about, you know what I'm saying, the law of rhythm too, because to one end it swings, to the other end it swings, and that's all about us. You know what I'm saying? Still that another way of looking at how cause and effect works, right? Because you know what I'm saying, even though there's a pendulum swing, there's still an effect of to where the energy is, where it swings to one side, it swings equally to the other side, right? So let's talk in these particular relationships. It doesn't have to be romantic relationships. These can be any type of relationships, friend relationships. We find females and men too, because I see this all on social media, where a lot of people have been talking about how they making connections with people. At the end of the day, Chris Brown, what did he make that song? These girls ain't loyal at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And people are making these connections with people and we're not paying attention. We was in class yesterday and we talked a little bit about the girl. I guess she went to Mexico. I heard part of the story, but I heard a twisted, distorted version of it. So, you know what I'm saying? That really, you know what I'm saying, didn't hold as much weight, but I knew something very unfortunate happened to a beautiful Black girl over there. And, and she was supposedly going on a trip with friends. And it's just really crazy that happened at that particular time, because I was getting a lot of dreams. I talked about the guy that, you know what I'm saying, that had those blue eyes, that everything he was saying was on point, but there was just something that just wasn't sitting right, right?
Right.
And then, I get a lot of impressions from the owl that was coming out. And when the owl shows up, the owl is reminding you to make sure you're paying attention to what's going on around you, because everything ain't necessarily as it seems. And we need to look into shit instead of just at it.
I would say the lesson is also to trust yourself, because you feel when something's off. And in my situation, because I was, deep in what I thought was a friendship, and you're come to find out, the girl was just jealous of me. And I was confused to it because, I really loved this one like a sister. We had known each other since we was kids and all that. But in the end, when everything, finally got set out on the table, it was a jealousy thing. So I had put myself in that situation many times where I could have been the girl, beat up and killed by what she thought was a friend.
Right. Wow. Wow. And that, that right there is so heavy, is what I want to say, because it makes me think that I was talking to a friend of mine who really, I could tell when I was speaking with her, she really wasn't receiving what I was trying to tell her about making sure that when we're in these relationships, like that you can see a certain level of reciprocity. It's not that you sit around and take a tally on a tit for tat type of thing, but you can kind of tell if the energy exchange between you and another individual is one-sided, if we really want to pay attention, right? Now I'm one of those people, I'm one of the biggest offenders of not really paying attention to that energy. As intuitive as I can be, I have this ability to shut this shit, that part of myself down,
Yeah.
because I'm afraid of being hurt. I'm afraid of being wounded, and so I won't pay as close of attention to what I kind of know in the back of my mind is going on, right? And
Yeah.
so, like, where we talk about this wheel of fortune and we look at it and we talk about how you can hit the lottery, you can win and something really great. So you connect with some people that's really, in alignment with the direction that you going in. And these is people that's, you know what I'm saying, that you can really rock with, or you run into your new very best friend or your soulmate person and all of that other energy. But then on the other end, you could also attract wheel of fortune moments, like you were just saying, depending on our vibration, where we get to learn a very powerful lesson. And we
Right.
can see that as something that is negative, you know what I'm saying? Because of course, with misfortune and tragedy, and disappointment and betrayal starts to show up for you, you start, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you're going to process that as being negative, but this is also a very powerful time to learn, to
Yes.
grow, and to expand.
Right. At this point, I'm grateful for relationships that I lost, because I wouldn't have been able to grow to who I am now. You
Mhm.
know, when I look back on it, it's like if I had to continue to be, where I was with that person, I wouldn't be the person I am today, because it just seemed like as soon as we stopped, being those tight girlfriends that we were, she reverted back to, the old ways. And I'm like, this was somebody I thought I could elevate with, we could move, next levels with, I'm saying? This was my friend.
Mhm.
And it just wasn't that. And then after the split, I can completely tell like the difference in our lives,
Right.
because, she just had all the potential in the world and it went nowhere.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to tell you, like, I'm bringing some very Scorpio shit. I don't know, for some reason, and I think that because I've learned so many things in such a short amount of time of just, you know, how things work out at the end of the day, and how sometimes when some things that we do and how it impacts bigger picture at the end of the day. And
yeah,
when I got this Wheel of Fortune card, I was excited because I like all of this luck, change of destiny and everything. But I also want to look at both ends of it. I don't want to be just this person that's just on this Pollyanna-ish type of energy where, yeah, I'm definitely trying to go back to this whole Wheel of Fortune where it's karma, turning points in my life, change for the better, the glow up, the upgrade, all of that type of shit too. But then when we look at this upheaval, the lousy luck, it's not that things is going great for me and it sucks being you. It's really about how can we learn from this whole situation so that when the wheel turns back around, the vibration is so much higher. And now you're in a position where you're ready to make the moves so that you can really experience the true highest vibration of the Wheel of Fortune. And this is that whole thing that this energy brings through, because right now, and like I said, it's amazing how this card comes up at this particular time. The Wheel of Fortune is also connected to Sagittarius and Jupiter energy. Jupiter, we already know, is all about growth, is all about expansion, and all about us really building our bag, right?
right.
However, you know what I'm saying? On the other end, on the flip side, It can also be about us being kind of lazy, lackadaisical, you know what I'm saying, and overindulgent. And if we don't check in, especially me, I'm talking to me, if we don't check in and check that hat at the door, we miss some shit. And when the wheel of fortune begins to turn and opportunity gets in front of us, we're not quite ready for those things that we're commanding. Or we end up getting some wheel of fortune from the seeds that we've been planting. And is that the, I mean, are we ready for the harvest of the seeds that we've been planting?
True. I mean, but if you're, see, dig this, the way I look at it. So yeah, we plant the seeds, right?
Right.
But you have to cultivate that seed to make sure that it grows properly so you'll be able to bear the fruit. So if you're not doing the work to cultivate that seed properly to bear the fruit, then you know what I'm saying, it's just going to be a wilted plant, a wilted idea. You know what I mean? Then it's the same thing in life. You have to work for what you want. You have to put in the energy for it. You know what I mean? You have to learn about it. You can't just get out here and say, yeah, I'm about to be, you know what I'm saying, the best truck driver in the world, and you ain't took their class. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Absolutely. But sometimes we unknowingly we do that. And you know, and like you said, we want to be the best truck driver. We ain't took their class. You know, we run into sudden windfalls. You know, we out here, we plan the number. We have no plan for what we finna do with that money. No intention, zero, zippity doo dah. So then we get a windfall of money and we got a whole bunch of vulture ass relatives standing over us hawking. You know what I'm saying? And causing confusion, disturbing the peace. And we sitting up here like, oh, wait a minute, let me say something, let me talk, you know, and trying to get all of that whole shit situated. I can see everybody in my family like, hold up, I got an idea. You know what I'm saying? For
Yeah.
me, if a windfall like that it came to me, I would have to take me a trip somewhere so that I could recalibrate and get ourselves together, because these are things that we can't prepare for. Even if we're in the highest vibration, if you're not holding an expectation to receive something like this, that could be a particularly challenging energy to navigate, right?
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Huh?
That's definitely true.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I have I sometimes my mind doesn't expand to include like how other people think about it, because the way I work is like off of my past experiences, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So made me think I need to broaden my horizons a little more, start maybe thinking about other people a little more.
Mm. Mm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. But you know, and then here's the other thing, and I'm glad that you said that, because that was one of the lessons that I learned during that whole Scorpio season, is really paying attention to how my expression is impacting the people that are around me, right? Because sometimes I get all worked up and hyped up about a point and everything and don't realize how I'm projecting my energy. And so, you know what I'm saying? And it comes off where, you know what I'm saying? Especially when I was working, white folks used to think I was being aggressive when that's not really
of
where it was at. You know what I'm saying?
course,
Whatever,
that's all,
you
trying to
know?
get in what needs to happen. That's all.
Right, exactly. But you know, I'm kind of authoritative sometimes in my energy. But then there's also some other folks that, you know what I'm saying, they feel a little off put, you know, when energy like that presents itself. And it's not that you know, there's a fear factor that's involved in it and everything. It's just like it's jarring and everything. And that's something for me to be more mindful of. Just like I wasn't really paying attention to, I had another dream that this whole Neptune, you know what I'm saying, being in Pisces, been hyping the dreams up like nobody's business, right? And for me, I've been having these dreams that's really been showing me a lot of things about like how I've been operating and how I've been showing up in this world. Not that my concern is how I'm showing up in this world so much to where I got to pretend that I'm someone else, but just being sensitive to me and my closed off energy, and making sure that I'm being more open and available and approachable, when I'm talking to people, will make a big enough difference. In the dream that I was having, I was trying to get down the street, but my car door was swung open. And then there was a guy that was standing like right there by my door. And I was asking him while I was on the driver's side if he could just push the door over. But I guess the energy that I was expressing, he was feeling kind of nervous and didn't know for sure if he should go and close the door, because I'm like, just go ahead and close the door, close the door, close the door. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, I don't know if I should close the door. I'm like, close the door. You know what I'm saying? And so that gave me a little bit of insight on how I'm projecting my energy, And so what we don't realize at the end of the day is that if we're not paying attention, not just about like how our energy is affecting people, but people's expression and how they're relating to you, you end up fucking around taking a trip like this poor girl that went to Mexico because you ain't fucking in tune with the star player.
Yeah.
And you ain't really grounded enough to pay attention to nobody's world but your own.
Yeah.
And you end up missing some bigger shit that's going on out here. And that right there is that Jupiter energy that we need to look into. That's why I'm like, this Wheel of Fortune, see this chance, destiny, fate, karma, turning points. Like when we move on in these next life cycles, this could be a turning point. We can keep moving the same direction we want to. And then if we get into these deceptive exchanges, whether they romantic relationships or platonic connections that we have, if we walking around with blinders over our eyes, then we entering into a whole nother cycle where we got a whole bunch of inauthentic connections around us because we ain't stopping and checking in with the energy that's around us.
True.
Because it had me all fucked up. Like, how do you find yourself taking a trip with a bunch of fucking player haters? Oh, that's real easy, because I didn't have, at first I'm talking all of this shit like, who the fuck would take a trip with a bunch of goddamn haters?
Right.
Right. Who does that? Right. That's, what I'm saying? Come on, man. What the fuck? Why would you do? And then I thought about it like, oh, damn well, you could have very well took a trip with a hater. I almost did. Know what I'm saying? Yeah. Right.
Have done. Like, whoa.
Right, exactly. Right. Almost did. I went, you know what I'm saying? And blew a trip. I really wanted to take the little trip to Jamaica. They had a nice little package together and everything for the Jamaica trip. But I went ahead and I took the other trip that was in the Bahamas. And I wanted Jamaica more than Bahamas, but the Bahamas, okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I took that trip, but I really didn't want it because I'm trying to accommodate someone that I thought was my friend. At the end of the day, they were not. And I learned a powerful lesson. Luckily, it wasn't that kind of a powerful lesson where, I ended up in a cabin and, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, is ultimately unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? It just ended up not working out at the end of the day. And that trip ended up, it took a left turn. Still was a nice trip. You know what I'm saying? But it could have really been greater if I really, you know what I'm saying, did all of the things that I planned to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's,
get yourself more.
Absolutely. But that was because I didn't check in with the star player. You're talking to people and you just holding an assumption that they care about you, that they're in your corner. And sometimes there's underlying resentment. Sometimes you feel it, you know it, you know what I'm saying? But you kind of just let it ride.
Yeah. With me, it wasn't even letting it ride, because at the point, this particular relationship that I've been talking about, at this point, I I wasn't knowing who I was.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And then it's like the turning point was when I started figuring myself out. And then that's when everything came out on the table. You know what I mean? And then it's just been growth and growth and growth, and then reflection and more growth and more reflection. So, that's why I can talk about it so freely now and not be hurt by, what I'm saying, all the things that went on.
Right, right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. And see, and I like to make sure that when I look at a lot of these tarot cards, that I'm dealing with both ends of it, because my whole intention is for us to really get an opportunity to observe the energy, observe
Right.
how it shows up within our lives and how we can navigate it, or how we have navigated, or bring in some awareness so that when it approaches us, because it will, if we
Right.
keep living in these streets, that we have some different tools to navigate that a little bit better, so that we can come out on the successful end of this wheel of fortune. But then when I looked at it, because it talks about this destiny, this fate, this karma, and all of that, and then I look back at the Hermetic principles, and I look at the laws of cause and effect, and they're talking about, like, well, I know that karma is definitely a law of cause and effect, but
Right.
destiny, but fate, isn't that the law of cause and effect unobserved? You know what I'm saying? What about these seeds that's being planted? But then it gives me it gives me a little bit of encouragement and everything, because it makes me feel as if I do a lot of work out here in these streets, and I haven't really begun to see any of the fruits of the labor of the works that I've been putting in. And I've been doing this for quite some time. But then I had to get real with who I was, because see, when I look at that at the Wheel of Fortune, even though you've been putting in the work, you do remember that, see, we make this mistake of thinking that we're not where we're supposed to be at.
Right.
And spirit showed me, no, you're exactly where you need to be at, because these are the lessons that you need to learn, right? Because one of the biggest things that I struggled with was consistency. This is why I showed up anyway, even though I didn't feel like it. And I know you know what I'm saying, I got a whole lot of other shit to do early and everything, but sometimes you just got to do it.
Right.
Because this was part of the reason why I got into the position that I'm in today. Because I'll start off with an idea, I'm all gung-ho, I'm about the business of that shit, right? And then after a while, it fizzles. Like, that's the way that my mind kind of works. It's like I'm working on one thing, I'm on to the next thing. 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 And I haven't been consistent enough. And so even though I've been doing the YouTube page for quite some time, I'll stop for months, you know what I'm saying, at a time, and then come up with another idea and then start over again. And that inconsistency has kind of messed with my algorithm. I was sitting around like, why in the fuck am I having this issue? But the thing is it's about the consistency. Because at first, when I started out in these streets, at first it started picking up a little bit and this and that. And as I started learning more about, the audience, because unfortunately, I thought that people would want to hear this and think it was profound. Not everybody thought so. Right. Right. That was a teaching moment right there, a moment of expansion. Right. And so with that, you know what I'm saying, you get a little discouraged from that, or you know what I'm saying, then you stop for a little bit and you pick back up again, and you stop and then you pick back up, or then you move on to something else, or then you come up with a whole different concept and another idea and you start over again and everything. And that level of inconsistency has put me in a place where I have to really start being consistent enough to show reliability so that I can begin to progress.
Right.
And what I wasn't seeing is that these are the results of seeds that I planted.
Right.
And so now, you know, it looks almost as if like I'm experiencing a challenge that's asking me to show improve, which it absolutely has. Is like I learn more as I continue on, and I'll get better as I move forward. And then a lot of other things that's probably not helping me move faster along my journey will begin to fall on the wayside. And a lot of things that will help me to move along will start to be added into and incorporated and everything. And these are things that I look forward to, you know, with that. But we think that somebody's going to show up and put us on. We think that, you know, if we keep playing this number faithfully every day, we go get a win. You know what I'm saying? We got the, you know what I'm saying? And I'm one of the biggest magical thinkers, you know what I'm saying, that's out here in these, well, probably not the biggest, but definitely one magical thinking type of person, right? But I'm not sitting around thinking that somebody's going to come and save me. There's a chance. It's destiny. It's fate. It's fated in the stars, because the stars show where your potential is. You ultimately have the choice to make it happen either way you want it to. Just like when you see a lot of these energies that express themselves, you see it in a higher vibration and in the lower vibration. And whatever it is that you're vibrating at is going to give you your divine expression of that energy.
That's definitely true. I've witnessed it on many levels.
Yeah. And so I think that it's just, you know, a powerful topic, this Wheel of Fortune, because I really wanted to make sure that we get this whole mentality, this thing where, you know, because a lot of us, we've been conditioned within our religious systems, this savior is going to show up and fix it for us. We ain't got to do a damn thing. All we got to do is just wait on something to come and show up and fix it. Take the wheel, you know?
My most liberating time, you know what I'm saying? My most capable, the time I felt the most capable is when I realized that no one is coming to save you. You have to get up and do this shit yourself.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You don't have to work double time than what you have been doing.
Right. Right.
And that was like the magic moment. It's like once I realized that once I put the effort into it, it's coming automatically.
Absolutely. And listen, I'm gonna tell you 1000%, if we want to get in alignment with destiny, with fate, with karma, and we want to see the highest vibration of that, then we got to make sure that we're in alignment with that by matching the vibration of what it is that we want. We can't be sitting up here vibrating all low and expecting some high shit to happen, right? You know, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get ready and close this discussion out. It was really an insightful discussion, even though I lost my train of thought for a second there. I had the notes down, and while I was writing it down, I thought about this cause and effect, and then it escaped me for a second there. But I did get a message from the buffalo, the dog, the nightingale, the crow, and the chameleon.
Wow.
And so the chameleon, the chameleon comes through telling us that we need to begin to act as if. And this is speaking to our vibration and us getting in alignment. Like if we want to be successful, are we really projecting that image of successful? Are we doing successful people shit? We want to be healthy. Are we projecting that image of health? Are we doing healthy people shit? Are we drinking water? Are we getting some movement in our life? Are we eating the things that's going to support that? Acting as if. We get in alignment. The crow comes through telling us that we got to make sure that we're also co-creating with spirit, because when we let spirit take the lead and we allow ourselves to be open Spirit is going to begin showing us some ways that's going to make our lives a whole lot easier. Our obstacle is that we don't think that the universe will abundantly provide. But the buffalo stepped through to let you know that is absolutely so not true. The universe is very important, abundant, and it absolutely will provide for you. And if you allow yourself to hang on and co-create and trust that spirit has your back, then you can do the things that you love and be completely supported in what you do. Your wheel of fortune moment is going to come through for you when you start doing the things that bring you joy, that bring you peace, that makes you vibrate higher. Those things that light you up. So when the dog shows up, he's letting you know that you got to do what you love, because this is the recommended action that's going to help you shift into your destiny, your fate, your karma, your wheel of fortune moment within the highest vibration. Because when you do that, when you tap into that energy, you will begin to start attracting all of that love, all of that support, all of those people, all of those connections all around you that will support and encourage your success. Because the nightingale showed up to let us know that the love that we need, the support, the encouragement is all around us. We got to make sure we doing what we love and let spirit lead us, man. But we got to tap into that frequency, because see, if we supposed to be doing this whole, this spiritual teaching thing, we supposed to be fashion designers, we supposed to be singers, we supposed to be artists. What are we doing? What are we doing? The Wheel of Fortune, family. The Wheel of Fortune. So I'm going to end it on that, y'all. And thank you so much, Aquarius Moon, Brother Dante. I love you both so much. Peace and light.
Easy. See you later. One love.
One
Peace
love.
out.
Peace
All
and
right,
love.
Aquarius.
Peace.
Like, yo, I had this bad bitch in town, she was old. Had me fucked up in the head, I mean,
Peace and love, y'all.
Thomas and pearls, I mean, should have seen them shit sounded on the wrist.